Hello, everybody. I literally pressed record and I'm just going to start talking because I have no idea how this video is going to go. I really have no structure for it. Sometimes I do with these videos, sometimes I don't. But we're going to try and make sense of all of this Hot Wheels Silver Series stuff. Premium, maybe. Basic, not really. But this has been a whole bunch of new series in 2024. Most of these are in the store. I'm going to show you, so this is nothing new, but we're going to talk through it because there's been all kinds of opinions on this stuff, good and bad. I think a lot of people like seeing this kind of mid-tier, not as expensive premium stuff. It seems the opinion with the plastic wheels has been okay. Like, people aren't totally angry about it. Because these get full deco and everything else, so they seem like upgraded basics. There's been mixed opinions about the wheels, good and bad, and there's also been a lot of strong opinions about the idea of chases, and we'll talk about that as well. So I threw a slew up here, including 2 chases to start, and we're just going to make sense. I mean, look at this. I just literally threw these down, and then I've got a couple of the box set types, these packs that are coming out. Give you a sense of what Silver Series is. I learned about this about a year ago. Mattel kind of walked me through it to kind of know what was to come in 2024, and then I forgot everything that they told me. But I think, and I could be wrong here, there's essentially 3 tiers to Hot Wheels at this point. There's the basics, the $1 or so models that you find in Walmart, Target, and everywhere else, a bunch of other places. There are the premiums. I have this set that I need to show soon, the Car Culture. There's the premiums like Car Culture, Fast and Furious Premium, Boulevard, and that sort of thing. And we're talking about retail. This is not like RLC and things like that, or some sort of promo model. So there's those. And then in the middle now, there's this new Silver Series. So I don't know if they call basic like bronze, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's others like those anniversary series, those like gold and black that are considered like bronze, and because they're just talking anything above basic, and I'll correct that if I'm right. Then you have these Silver Series, and like now what you see with Car Culture is there's this new kind of like element to the packaging that shows like this little black line up top with the gold trim. Car Culture gets this gold, the Car Culture logo gets this kind of gold treatment. So does the Hot Wheels logo and the premium. And this is your gold level or gold series premium. So this is stuff we're used to: Real Rider tires, full deco, larger cards, about a $650 price point, at least here in the US. Car Culture continues to have the chases. We'll like I said, we'll do this series later, but now they said, well, let's try and make sense and try and add some element to this series. Those middle, like, store exclusive types. We've seen Walmart with like some of these, special, like, there was a Porsche series a few years ago, Highway series and stuff like that. Most of these were models that had some upgrades, but not a ton. They'd have plastic wheels, but they'd end up being like $250, $297, $3, whatever. And people would be like, why am I spending $2 more essentially for what is basically a basic model just because it has different packaging? Well, it probably costs different because of the packaging, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I think Hot Wheels said, we got to do a better job of deciphering and differentiating these different levels of models. And so they created this Silver Series, and you can see this here, all of them with the blue trim up top and the silver Hot Wheels logo up top. And these will be store exclusives. These will be box sets. You'll just kind of see it show up in all kinds of different ways. That's essentially what this is. From that perspective, I get it. I think, my own opinion, I think it's a little overthinking. I think that this element benefits having, like, call it Silver Series, but we don't need like a bronze series, we don't need Car Culture. We kind of know what this is already. We don't need it to be differentiated with some gold series. Just call it premium and it's fine. Tying this together, that's good. The thing that really ties these together, though, is that they've ditched basic wheels and they've created a new set of wheels for all of these models. And that, I think, for a collector who follows this stuff, all of us do, if you're watching this channel, I know you do, add new wheels, give it full deco, put a Hot Wheels logo on it, we're good. We're good. We understand we're going to pay more for it. We've given a metal base, whatever. We know we're going to pay more for it, and we're cool with it. I'm not opposed to this. And I think like I said, I think it works here with the Silver Series, but the gold and the platinum or whatever, I don't think it, who cares? Like, we don't need it. We don't need it. Anyway. All right, so let's talk about this. All right, so I've just got this big mess. Let's talk about, I think the first series that came out was wagons, and so what I'm gonna do, like I said, I really don't know how I'm gonna organize this. We're just gonna walk through these. We're gonna talk about the wheels. I'm not even gonna open these today. I might show these later, but here's wagon. Hot Wagons is what this series is called. So wagon, I mean, that's car culture like, right? You know, it's got a theme. I think these are all the rest of them. 5 cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll see if this one balances over here, and 5. 5 cars. This is number 5 of 5. Like I said, this is not necessarily a showcase. We're going to talk about the wheels. So 5 cars in this one. I only see the theme of this one, Hot Wagons. Sometimes these don't even say anything on them, and I'm glad, like, what the theme is, and I don't know how you figured it out, but this one obviously makes it very clear. This is called Hot Wagons. Cars, everything else, nothing more than just showing what the cars are on here. And of course there are 5. That will be important here in a minute. New wheels as well. This, I guess you would call this a 4-spoke. There might be some Hot Wheels wheels that or some names, some official names for these wheels, but this is like, I guess you would call this a 4-spoke wheel, basic wheel, or whatever they want to call it, Silver Series wheel. This is the Audi Quattro RS. No, I'm sorry, it's the RS6 Avant. Sorry, this one has a metal base, and I think the idea here, and we'll find some with a plastic base, is if the casting has a metal chassis, that's what you'll get. Full deco. Even some additional striping, which I think looks kind of cool. And I really think the wheels look kind of cool on this one. This sporting wheel, and I just dropped it. But that's what I do, right? The old classic Datsun wagon. This one gets, I mean, I think you could call this a Silver Series 5-spoke. It looks very similar to the basic 5-spoke wheel. But it isn't, right? It's still premium. Or whatever Silver Series. This one has the metal chassis as well. I'm not, like I said, I'm not opening it, but you can kind of tell based on the weight. That's the metal, that's the Datsun wagon. The Volvo's a great one because they made a premium version of this wagon, of the 850 Estate, for car culture, and we've only seen it released once, right? It's been in basic the rest of the time, and the way Ryo Asada designed this, metal top, the interior kind of extends out to create that break along the side, and then plastic chassis for the basic, but this one is in fact metal. So that's where I think, like, yeah, like the Audi RS6 Avant has both the premium basic version. We got the metal chassis, same thing, or with the Volvo. Datsun's the same way. Custom 66 GTO, we haven't seen it in a while, the wagon, but I think that's the same thing too. Now this one has, I guess you'd call that a 5-spoke wheel. It almost looks, it's the same version, I can show you both of them, as the Nova wagon. I would be tempted to call this a Mag 5 or something, maybe call the other one a Mag 5, and this one could be a 5-spoke. I would say this one almost looks like the Fuchs wheel, because obviously we're going to see these in Porsches, but it looks very similar to a Fuchs wheel, but obviously I'm not going to call it a Fuchs wheel. Metal chassis, metal chassis. I don't know if the Nova wagon has all of these. In fact, all of these in the Hot Wagon series have both premium and basic versions, and every one of them got the metal chassis. I think the thinking there is you're paying for it, you're going to pay that premium price for it, so you might as well get it. So that's the first set. The second set that came out, I think, another 5-car series, is the Women of Fast, Fast and Furious, another store exclusive, Walmart. Most of these, I think, have been Walmart exclusives to start. So let's find these Fast and Furious models, wherever they are. Honestly, I really did just kind of mix these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There they are. All right, let's figure this out. This is number 405. This is the Ford GT40. Now these are essentially, I mean, cool art, obviously the smaller card, not premium, but this one's a little different. So this is the Ford GT40 basic casting, but it also has a premium version. But in this case, we get a plastic chassis. Now I don't remember the price point for these. These were sent by Mattel. As a matter of fact, they have the FEP code on them. You see that? They're on the back. We have seen all of these in either Fast and Furious Premium or that Fast and Furious Basic, which would have been Silver Series in the past, right? But now we're seeing it done with the new style of wheels. All of these get those five, these two get the 5 spokes like we've seen, and then these 3 get this other, well, we'll use the S2000. What do you call this one? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like a 10 spoke? 10 spoke wheel. Now this one, I'm waiting to see a version of this wheel that doesn't look cheap, to be honest. I don't like it. I don't like this wheel. I think the basic 10 spoke, for example, on this Honda is better. Now, the benefit to this one is this Honda gets the full, you know, side, back, front, even top Decos. So from that perspective, you can call it premium. It doesn't have, nope, this is the plastic chassis. So plastic, this one is metal. And I can't remember if, because this was only released last year in the same deco, if that one had a metal chassis. Maybe it did, you guys can let me know. So that one gets the metal chassis. Corvette, which we've only seen in premium, gets the metal chassis, this casting, with the black 5 spokes. And this one, the Porsche Cayman GT4, also gets the metal chassis because we've only seen it in premium as well. So these 5, yeah, this one, it's a little bit different. There are premium chassis, there are metal chassis for this casting and this casting, but we didn't get them. The other 3 we did. That wheel, we'll see it show up again, but let's see if it shows up in a way that we actually like it. Because I mean, maybe you like it, I don't. I think it looks a little cheap. I actually like the basic wheels better that have been on those castings in the past. All right, next one I think that we've seen is probably Porsche, right? Now, we saw a 5-car set with the wagons. We saw a 5-car set with the Women of Fast, but things change with the Porsche series. 1, 2, look at the art, it's just so good. 3, where are we? 4, there's that Cayman again. 5, and way over here, maybe we'll have to put it right here. 6. Now here's where the other differentiation, this is where the opinions start getting real strong, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's been some question marks, but this is another Silver Series. There's not 5 cars, there are 6, and they are numbered out of 6. But yes, this set has a chase. There is nothing on here that specifies that the Porsche 914-6 is a chase, other than the fact that if you were to open up a few of these cases, you would find multiples of this casting, multiples of that casting, and then one each of that one, and then maybe a second a multiple, I don't know, and then maybe the Porsche 914. The Porsche 914 is only in a few cases. They have distributed it differently. Some people said, well, Mattel just made a mistake and they're just going to call it a chase. Well, opinion whether you like it or not, and I welcome all opinions on this. Mattel made this, dubbed it a chase, and then distributed it accordingly. It's not to cover up a mistake. So what I'm thinking now, and I haven't asked this, is if there are 6 cars in a Silver Series set, there's a chase. If there's 5 cars in a Silver Series set, there is not. Now, I did open up this case. I put it on, they sent me a case of these, and they said, we don't know if there's going to be a chase in it, but we'll send you one to showcase. There happened to be the chase in it, so I don't know what the second, what car gets a second version in the cases without the chase. But it is a chase. And so I don't know if they'll hold fast to that rule, but if there is a car in there, and I think the idea of it being a chase is we're not going to tell you, you're going to have to figure it out. And what will happen is folks will get cases, they'll get cases in the store, they'll open up, they'll say, hey, on the back, there are 6 cars, but in the case there was not. And this is how I know it's a chase, is because many of you found these cases of the Porsches in store, saw that there was a 914 on the back of the card, but it wasn't in the case. In fact, I think early on, a lot of people weren't finding the 914s, and I was getting messages saying, hey, do you know anything about this 914? I didn't. I hadn't seen the set, I hadn't seen the series. So I emailed my contacts at Mattel, and they came back and said, yeah, the 914 is a chase. It will not be in every case. I said, really? And so I told the person, a couple of the people, and they told other people, and then anyway, that's how it worked. So 6 cars, and I'll try and get that verified. 6 cars in a set. There is going to be a chase. It won't be in every case. 5 cars. It won't. Love this series, by the way. Now we see the 5 spokes showing up here again. That, I guess we'll call it a 5 spoke here on the Porsche 935. On the 356 Speedster, you get that Fuchs style, which looks really cool. Again, I don't know what you would call this, 5 dot or something, 5 dot silver. The art on this is tremendous. 8380, I think it's 8380 Laboratories on Instagram did this art, and it is so good. So good. That's the, of course, the Chase 914. Here's that Cayman that we saw. This one gets a metal chassis. I wasn't talking about, let's see. Metal chassis. Cayman is metal chassis because that's all that exists. I think the Speedster, that's all that exists too, so that one's definitely metal. 935 has both, and that is metal. 914 has both because we saw it in Car Culture last year. That, I believe, that may be plastic. I can't tell. You know what? I have an extra of this. I'll open it because it was in the case. You know I was going to drop it. That is definitely plastic. That is the plastic chassis. Sometimes it depends on the factory they're made in. What factory is this made in? This is made in Thailand. Malaysia is where the basics are made, but that's, so there's that. And then the 71 Porsche 911 has the metal chassis as well. That's clear. And I think that is only a premium, right, as the 914 or the 71. In fact, it's the same casting as is the Chase in the first mix of Car Culture Exotic Envy. That'll be a different video. All right, so those are the Porsches. 6 models, including the Chase. Where to next? I think the next one we're seeing hitting 7-Eleven stores and everything else is the, put this over here, is the vintage sets, right? This one, Vintage Racing Club. BMW 2002, we'll just talk about the chassis there. It has both, but this one's plastic. Thailand. There's that 97, oh, but that's plastic. That is definitely the plastic chassis. So this one, oh, interesting. So metal chassis on that 71, plastic chassis on this 71. It is the same casting, right? I believe it is. And yeah, but one gets the metal chassis, one gets the plastic. Sorry, put that clear. That's interesting. Same wheels though. All right, so there's that. 1954 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL in white with the 5 spokes. That looks cool because they put the white line tires on that one. Lamborghini Miura SV was an ID model. Well, let's just talk about this. Plastic chassis. I think that's all it's got. I mean, if there's an opinion about those wheels, look how bad those look on this. Not real keen on this casting because it looks a little squashed to me. You know, the Miura was low to the ground and just so menacing, and this thing just doesn't capture that in my opinion, but the wheels make it even worse. That of all these so far that we've seen of this like Silver Series, that's a disaster. I'm sorry, it's terrible. Where is it? What else are we looking at here? That's 4. Here's 5. 1955 Corvette. This one has a metal chassis. I think that's all that exists on this one. I could be wrong. Fantastic art. I think this might be 8380 as well. Doing this art. I mean, look how good that looks. And then of course it says 6, right? So there are 6 cars on there. The 6 of 6 is the 1967 Camaro, and yes, this also is a Chase. Now this one gets those 6-spoke wheels, or 10-spoke wheels, I'm sorry, and this one actually looks pretty good. They look good here. They don't look nearly as cheap. And the model itself is fantastic. This is the older 67 Camaro casting. So metal chassis, no door outlines, and an opening hood. So the Edelbrock Camaro, I think a lot of people will go after. Well, I mean, obviously will because it's a chase, but also just they'll want it because it's really, really good looking. And this is a very, very nice version. I do like those wheels there. I can see with this car, you can actually see with these wheels now that they've put some brake calipers in there to give it some detail, but it just, I don't know, it just has not looked, I mean, compare that to this. I mean, no. Anyway, so there it is. So there's the other series with the chase so far. So 6 cars, chase. If another set comes out and all of a sudden we find it at stores and there's a 6th of 6, just assume that's the chase. That is the chase model, and if you see it, grab it, because that is what it is. Because here we go again in the rule. Here, this next series, and this is the last one before we get to these box sets in this very long video, is the Hot Wheels J import set. The art on this is insane. It is so beautiful. And this is the, like I said, J import set. We'll look at the back. There's 5 cars, all classic Japanese. Honda CRX, this one has the metal chassis. This is the old school Ryo Asada design before he modified it for basic, giving it the full body. This one has the brake. You know, I think the interior moves to the exterior, has the headlight piece and everything else in modal deco. That thing is fantastic with the 4 spokes. This is another one gone from premium to the silver series, so of course it's going to have a metal chassis as well, and it does. It is the 81 Toyota Starlet. This one looks really good, nice and clean too, with the Starlet deco. These are really clean and really great colors. 5 spokes look good on there, although I would have loved the 4 spokes. Get those Fuchs style here, whatever they're called, on the Mazda Cosmo Sport. This one has the basic chassis like the Super Treasure Hunt. Didn't get the premium like one from what, Japan Historics, what was that, 2 or 3 maybe? 3. And then 2 others. Nice to see this casting return, but this isn't the premium. This is the basic of the Acura NSX, the racing NSX. They modified this for premium, but this one is the return to the basic. See, 2007 on this chassis. Plastic, of course, was in the basics. This one gets the 4 spokes looking good in the race models. And then last but not least, the old classic, the Hakosuka, the Nissan Skyline HT 2000 GTX in a Yokohama deco with JDM Legends, our friends at JDM Legends, Utah boys, right here on the Hakosuka racing style. This one's really nice in the gold rims. Gets the full treatment too. And this is the classic racing version, the Junimai design, not the one they did for Fast and Furious. So there is that set. No 6th car, no chase. I think I've made myself, I think we've beat that to death, right? And I want your opinions in the comments on what you think. Last but not least, Silver Series sets. There's 2 here. This one I think is just coming out. I think hobby dealers have had it. I've not opened this one up. Maybe I'll do some sort of video on it. These are the Legends cars. Some Hot Wheels own, like the Bone Shaker, and then of course Legends winners. There's the, see, even the, I mean, look at that. That's the, what do you call that one? The Gas Monkey Garage. The Premium, the Super, the Basic all look better than this one. Gets the plastic chassis, but those wheels just don't work. But there are some of the Legends winners. And this is the ornamental conifer Camaro with race service. They did with race service, which is fantastic. So not every winner is in there, but that's the Legends set. And then of course this one, which I did open and did a feature on, and it's heavy because you're getting metal chassis, is the what do they call it? The Streets of Japan, I believe, is what this one is called, even though the name's, no, maybe the name is on it, but all premium, right? Pandem, the Pandem BRZ, Super BRZ, the Acura Integra, the GSR that we saw in Fast and Furious, the Mitsubishi 3000 GT that's been in car culture a couple times. There's the Toyota Supra, which I think has a basic, no, this one's just done for premium. I think we saw in Fast and Furious. Nissan Z is in both, but it does have the metal chassis. And then the Pandem RX-7, which looks nice too with the basic wheels. So 4 spokes. These look okay. There's those wheels, but they still look kind of cheap. But they look better there, but not great. All right, guys. That's a long-winded, just talking video. No opening, no showcase, but I want to know what you think on all this, on the Silver Series. I think we're walking it through. 6 cars is a chase, 5 cars there's no chase. There's new wheels, metal chassis if they've got it, but not all the time. You're not going to pay more for a metal chassis. You're just going to pay for the extra deco, maybe the different art, things like that. So they're what we've seen them in the $2.50 to $3 range, I think. I like the fact that they've deciphered this from the basics and from premium. That makes sense, but it doesn't mean that premium has to have these gold trim on it. That's my opinion. You guys tell me what you think. Those are all my views on it. I like it. I think it's a good thing. I like the wheels. Makes it another thing, the unique thing to collect for those that want to. I'm still deciding whether I want to collect some of these or not. I'll add some of these castings to the collection for sure, but not all, I don't think. You guys tell me what you think. Thanks, everybody. Bye.